Over 2,000 years ago, on a day drenched in sorrow yet filled with divine purpose, Jesus Christ, Son of God, Savior of the world, was crucified. It was no ordinary execution. It was the day love was poured out in its purest, most painful form. The King of Kings, wrapped in human flesh, hung upon a Roman cross, suspended between heaven and earth, so that all of humanity could be redeemed. Before the nails, there was a journey. Jesus had walked among us, healing the sick, opening blind eyes, raising the dead, and speaking truth with authority that shook the religious elite. He was without sin, yet falsely accused. Betrayed by Judas for 30 silver coins, arrested in Gethsemane while praying in agony, and deserted by his closest friends. He endured it all with silent strength. They scourged him with whips until his back was torn open. Soldiers mocked him, placing a crown of thorns upon his head. Blood streamed down his face, and yet he remained silent, fulfilling prophecy. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter. Isaiah 53:7. He carried his own cross through the streets of Jerusalem, weakened and stumbling, yet determined. At Golgotha, they drove nails through his hands and feet. They lifted him high, crucified between two criminals, as the crowd jeered and the sky darkened. And still, his love did not waver. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Luke 23:34. These were the words from the cross, a divine plea for mercy, even for those who tortured him. For 6 long hours, he suffered, every breath a battle, every moment a miracle of restraint and grace. Then, at the darkest hour, he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Matthew 27:46. This was the weight of all sin, yours, mine, the world slayed upon him. Heaven turned its face, not in anger, but because perfect holiness could not look upon the sin he bore. And then came the final words, "It is finished." John 19:30. With that, Jesus bowed his head and gave up his spirit. At that moment, the temple veil tore from top to bottom, symbolizing that the barrier between God and humanity had been destroyed. For God made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. 2 Corinthians 5:21. The Son of God died that day for you, for me, for the world. He died not because he was weak, but because his love was strong. The cross wasn't the end, it was the beginning of hope. Because of his sacrifice, we are no longer bound by sin. But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement for our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed. Isaiah 53:5. Today, we remember the greatest love story ever told. Jesus didn't stay in the grave. He rose. But today, on this holy day of remembrance, we pause at the cross. We gaze upon the Savior who gave everything, and we let that truth change us. Let this reality sink deep. You are not forgotten. You are not unloved. You are not too far gone. Jesus died to bring you back, to wash you clean, to call you his own. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. John 15:13. And that's exactly what he did. He died for you. So now, live for him.